Hello everyone. Good morning children. So let's start today's lecture. So today we are going to start a new chapter of geography part. So till today we have done many chapters of history part, civics part and geography part. But in a geography part we have just two chapters had completed. In a civics and in history there is three chapters are done. Chapter number 1, chapter number 2 and chapter number 7. And in a civics part we have done chapter number 8, 9, 10 and 12. And in a geography part there is a two chapters had completed, chapter 14 and 17. And now we start a new chapters, chapter number 20, disaster management. And see students, I tell you that if now you prepare for the FA1, so then you can see this video after completion of your FA, but try to good score in your FA. Okay, so this chapters is not covered in FA1, so now you can, if you don't see this video then okay, but after completion of your FA you will have to see this video and try to understand perfectly. So shall I start? Okay, so come on the page number 148. Disaster management, chapter number. What is disaster management? So in common parlance, disaster means a kind of earthquake, flood, fire, etc., natural or man-made events. So at the time of the disaster, we all know how to manage the situations. That is called management, and that management is doing for the disaster. That's why we can say that the disaster management means uh, at the time of earthquake, floods, fire, or any other disaster, how we all are how to manage the situations. That is called disaster management. So disaster may be natural or may be man induced. So maybe catastrophic or diastrophic. So may have originated in the interior of the earth or in atmosphere. It is felt over an extensive area on the earth and also result in devastation. I hope you all know the meaning of catastrophic, diastrophic or devastations, right? Because we all are used to this with these wordings. If we examine a few phenomena, it will be clear that the disaster damage lives and property to a great extent. Some events like volcanic eruptions, earthquake, tsunami, etc. are the collective result of both natural as well as man-induced acts. So, many a times we examine some situations. I mean to say a few phenomena, so we can clear that many disaster damages lives of public, I mean to say people, and also property of people, but to at a great extent, not a little much damage, but it's in huge amount or a huge volume. So some events bring a pre-planned devastation and destruction. Um, Pre-planned like atomic attack by U.S. bombers over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This was a disaster, but it was a man-induced disaster, and also it is a pre-planned devastation and destruction. So that is not called a natural disaster. And whereas some events are result of human negligences of mistakes, like a Bhopal gas tragedy, then a Chernobyl nuclear disaster of Russia. So these two are the uh, results due to the human mistakes, or U.S. bombers over Hiroshima and Nagasaki was the pre-planned devastation. So now we are moving on types of disaster. So we all know what is disaster. Now which type of disaster? So natural disaster and man-induced disaster. We are aware of the risk of disaster to decide the strategy for relief work and necessary to know the reason and responsible situation. It is important to know this with reference to overall preparations for relief work. Expert on disaster management have divided disaster into two categories. See students, if we want to res- if we want to relieve from that situation and also at that time we try to come out from that situation, so for that before we know the how many types of disaster, which types, and how to come out from that situation. So first one is the natural disaster like a flood, cyclone, tsunami, drought, earthquake, volcano, forest fire, etc. So of these, a forecast is possible for floods, cyclone, tsunami, drought, while it is not possible to forecast earthquake and volcanic eruption and forest fire. So sometimes disaster, sorry, many a time, uh, sorry, huh, uh, some type of disaster have an forecasting, but for some types of disaster we cannot do forecasting for that like earthquake, volcanic eruption, etc. Then man-induced disaster like fire, industrial accident, then bomb explosions, riots, etc. are included. So now we are studied in detail. So we'll start the natural disaster with the detail. So first natural disaster is flood. So by a flood, we generally mean an extensive land area remaining submerged under the water continuously for a several days. That means for a many a days. And people associate flood with river. When river water overflow, it banks and the nearby land area comes under the water. That is called flood. Flood is a natural event and it's the result of continuously heavy rainfall or sometimes breach of any river or many huge plenty. So at that time, that bridge broken down and heavy water overflow happened. So at that time also flood is result of. So the mostly it is a result of continuous heavy rainfall, but exceptions are there. So flood become a dangerous when some construction is carried out ignoring human activities, drainage pattern, slope of the land, etc. and damage the lives and properties on a large scale. So at the time of flood, what we to do and what not to do. So first, in that situation, what to do? So first, collect us precious and personal requirements and take a refuge at a safer place. Okay. And second, see students, in examination, if you want to write your other words, your other points, but so you can write, but at least 2 to 3 points cover from the textbook, and other 2 to 3 you can write your own points because we all know what to do at the time of floods. But still, at in that situation, we can't think about that much, and many a time. We confused what to do. So in a textbook some important points are given for that. So now we just read it and try to explain because nothing that much explanation in this chapter. So first point is that a collective precious and a personal requirements and take a refuge at the safer place. First going to the safer place and then put water, dry breakfast, candles, lanterns, matchbox in a plastic box so that they do not get wet and they should be kept with you. Whenever you will going to safer place, so please put water, then dry breakfast and candles, etc. But these all things are in a one plastic bag or a plastic box because they do not get wet. Otherwise, it's not useful for you. So they should be kept with you and also in a plastic box. Then the third is do not keep the children hungry. And the fourth one is after the flood recede, drink only a boiled water because due to floods, water will. So may where we okay due at the time of flood, uh, clean water merge with bad water. I mean to say hygienic waters and unhygienic waters mixed, and we uh, don't have a pure clean water. So at that time we drink only a boiled water. Then a radio, mobile phone should be kept with us invariably. Then be aware of snack. They may come to the dry place and keep a bamboo stick to drive them away. Then these 6 points are the what to do, and 2 points for what not to do. So first one, do not eat food prepared in flood water because that water is not clean and pure and also not hygienic for our health. So that's why we don't eat that food which prepared in flood water. And the second is do not move out without collecting authentic information about the route and situation before moving out from the safer place. So here we complete the flood. See students, it is very easy and also you can write your own points, but try to cover the textbook points, and at least 2 to 3 points you have to write from the textbook. But the other points you can write your own words. And the second is the cyclone. But before that, you just try to read the flood and what to do at the time of flood and what not to do at the time of flood. And in your fan note, you write extra points. You can write your extra point, which help you, which will help you at the time of examination. So here, 1 minute you have, just read it what to do and what not to do, and then we'll start the cyclone. Okay, so cyclone is also a natural induced disaster. So due to atmospheric disturbance, a severe storm strikes suddenly, and these storms are known as cyclone and Indian subcontinent. So hurricane and tornado in USA. See, these words for which used for cyclone in different countries. So in Indian subcontinent, we can say cyclone. Then in USA, tornado and hurricane, and in China and Japan, it is called a typhoon. So these severe atmospheric storm are created due to unequal atmospheric pressures. So such storms or cyclones create devastation over the area over which they pass, and its devastating effects are felt along the coast of eastern India and Kutch, Saurashtra. So at the time of cyclone, what we to do? Uh, and before that, I told tell you कि in your examination in MCQ types question, it can be asked which word used for cyclone in USA, which word used for a cyclone in China. So you can write typhoon, hurricane, tornado, etc. respective to the country. So now what to do at the time of cyclone? So there are 9 to 10 points given in textbook. So it's enough points. Still you have other points, so you can write. Keep viewing the news bulletin on TV, radio, to know the anticipated time of oncoming storm. Then those who have a radio should keep an extra battery ready. See students, at the time of cyclone, you have to view the news in a TV and also touch with the radio and also keep a extra battery ready in the radio. Then the third one is the mobile phone should be kept fully charged in advance because if at the time of because at the time of cyclone uh, light और जा सॉरी लाइट कट होने की चांसेस बढ़ जाती है सो एट दैट टाइम योर रेडियो शुड कीप एन एक्स्ट्रा बैटरी so at that time mobile phone should be kept fully charged then radio should keep an extra battery so if light cut so you have an options so if you have a power bank instrument so it should be also charged fully in advance then fourth point is listen carefully to instruction, warnings, broadcast over a radio and implement them and stay away from the rumors. Then to store additional food, try breakfast, drinking water as per need. Then keep provision of food and medicine and necessary for children and old peoples and try to avoid for going outing for then next point is if the rescue team tells you to vacate your home, then and only then follow their instruction immediately. But if rescue team tells you, then only. Otherwise, stay home and stay safe. Then use pure and safe drinking water. Then, if you have taken shelter in a shelter home, then created by government or any NGO, then follow the instruction and do not leave the premises without their instruction. That means without their instruction, don't leave the home shelters or any other NGOs building wherever you stay. Then the last one is do not keep your domesticated animals tied up to their post because if they are free, they can defend themselves in better way. That means if you have a dog or cat at your home, so please try to free them because if they are free, then they can defend themselves in the better way. So here we done what to do at the time of cyclone. Very easy point are given in the textbook, so you can easily learn this point. Then what not to do at the time of cyclone. So first, pay attention on instruction of rescue team and government and not pay any attention to gossip or rumors except the instruction issued by weather department or radio. Then, if atmosphere calm down suddenly, rain stop, wind becomes stand still, even then do not go in open area. After sometimes cyclone, I mean to say, atmosphere calm down and try to back normal situation, rain stop, still don't go in open area, wind or rainfall may strike suddenly. Then do not touch electrical poles or loose wires. Stay away from them. Then do not take shelter near a bigger hoardings or large tree because at the time of cyclone, trees, hoardings try to fall, it may be fallen down. So please away from the bigger hoardings and large trees. So here we see what not to do at the time of cyclone. So there is 4 point and 8 to 10 points in what to do. So now you just read it and then we'll start our next disaster earthquake. I know it is very easy. Still, if you just read a one time, so it is very easy for you for the learning. and we repeat some points after complete the earthquake. Okay, done? Good. So first we revise the flood and cyclone, then we'll start the earthquake. So at the time of flood, what to do? Collect your precious and personal requirements and go for a safest place. Do not keep the children hungry. Put water, dry breakfast, candles in a plastic box. After flood, drinks only boiled water. Radio, mobile phone should be kept with you. Then what not to do? So don't eat food prepared in flood water and don't move out without collecting authentic information. And cyclone. So in cyclone, what to do? So keep viewing the news on TV. Then those who have a radio should keep extra battery ready in radio, mobile phone, and also in power bank. Then listen carefully to the instruction warning broadcast over radio and also implement them. Then stay away from room house. Stay store additional food, dry breakfast, etc. And keep provisions for the food and medicines, especially necessary for the children and old people. And if a rescue team tells you to vacate your home, then follow the instruction immediately. Then what not to do? So do not pay any attention to gossip or rumors. And if atmosphere calm down suddenly, still still you don't go in open area, and don't touch the electric poles and loose wire, and also stay away from the bigger hoardings and large trees. Now earthquake is also a natural disaster, natural induced disaster. So earthquake is a general mean shaking of the surface of the earth. So due to tectonic activities in the interior of the earth, the earthquake is felt. Its a major area are the regions with the weaker relief on the surface of the earth. Please underline, general earthquake in a general means the shaking of the surface of the earth due to tectonic activity. Which type? Tectonic activities in interior of the earth, earthquake is felt. Underline tectonic activities. It is major area are the region with the weaker relief on the surface of the earth. Probably earthquake region can be identified, but the earthquake cannot be forecast. So thus the much damage is caused in absence of forecast. What to do at the time of earthquake? So during the earthquake, step beneath a large bench or a table. Then if you are in school, so sit beneath a bench. If you are in open space, stay away from buildings, balcony, electric power lines and electric poles, because at any time they can fall down. So try to stay away from them. And if you are a driving vehicle, bring your vehicle to halt over or under a bridge. Keep away from electric poles, power lines and traffic signal. Remain seated in your vehicle till the earthquake tremors are not over. Even after earthquake tremors are over, few things like a bridge, photographs on the wall, ceiling fan, etc. may fall down afterwards, so keep away from them. Then, for instruction or a guidance about the event, listen to the local radio. New buildings under construction should be made earthquake proof. Just we repeat it. During an earthquake, step beneath a large bench or a table. Go under the large bench and table. And if you are in school, then you can sit beneath the bench. And if you are in open space, So please stay away from the buildings, electric power lines, poles, etc. Then if you are a drive a vehicle, then stop and halt over and under a bridge and keep away from traffic signals, power line, etc. And remain seated in the vehicle till the earthquake is not stopped. Even after the earthquake tremors are over, for sometimes keep away from the ceiling fan, photographs, fridge, etc. because it may be fall down afterwards. And for a perfect instruction and guidance, see or listen, see the news and listen to the local radio. And new buildings under construction should be made earthquake proof. And what not to do at the time of earthquake. So do not shout or flee in panic, right? Do not shout or flee in panic. That means don't be panic that much and try to calm down and take perfect decision. And do not attempt to prevent the things falling down after the earthquake tremors. Do not use elevators to go down. Uh, uh, you can use the stairs or steps for go down. If you are in house, do not stand near the wooden cabinets. I mean to say cupboards, safe, mirrors, or a glass chandelier. Then do not light a matchstick or a lighter, or do not switch on electric gadgets before confirming that the cooking gas is not leaking, because leaking gas may explode it. Then do not put a phone call unless for emergency medical help or fire. A prompt phone call may interrupt telephone network, which may obstruct the relief work. So, see students, here we done what not to do and what to do at the time of earthquake. So I hope you understood perfectly what to do and what not to do at the time of cyclone, flood and earthquake. So these all are points useful for us in our routine life, because we don't know when will come this type of disaster. So if we have a knowledge about that, about this, then we can use this knowledge at this type of situation. So here we done today's lecture, and will start tsunami from the next lecture. And in today's homework, you have write what to do and what not to do, points of flood only, because now your FA is starting, so I don't give you that much homework. Just write what to do and what not to do at the time of floods, and a definition of a natural disaster and types of disaster. Okay, so here we done today's lecture. So I hope you all enjoy this lecture, because it is very easy chapter. That's why you enjoyed a lot. Okay, so goodbye everyone.